Welcome back to the channel. Today's video is about Modern Warfare 2 here on the A80J. Now, I had originally was going to make this video showing gameplay and things like that on how the Modern Warfare 2 beta looked on the A80J, but after playing this beta over the weekend, I decided to go a different direction. So the purpose of this video today is to talk about the 5 reasons that Modern Warfare 2 will not be any fun. Number 5, the footsteps. The footsteps are so loud in this game. You can't move anywhere without being heard from halfway across the map. You can't move. You cannot move anywhere without being heard halfway across the map. That's enough said. Number 4, Sentinels. Now, for those that watched the Call of Duty event before the beta dropped, they referred to a couple of different player styles and they gave them names, and one of them they mentioned was Sentinels, which I thought was hilarious. Essentially what they were saying was Sentinels are the campers. Those that will, at the start of a match, they'll run to a specific window or a specific lane and they'll sit there and they'll wait and they'll just watch that one lane and watch that one area and don't move the rest of the match. This wouldn't be as problematic if the footsteps weren't so loud. But I'll get into more as we go along. And I understand that Sentinels, air quotes, have been in pretty much every Call of Duty since they started doing multiplayer. So I understand that. But there have been things in past Call of Duties that would help counter that. For those players that don't want to move around anywhere, there were things in the game to help players such as myself who like to move around the map, like to flank, but I digress. The third, minimap. What were they thinking? Like, what is the point of having a minimap where if you fire an unsuppressed weapon, it doesn't show up on the map? It's the same as if you're firing a silenced weapon. You know, that's one of the things that I loved about past Call of Duties is when you were equipping attachments on your weapon and personalizing it to your playstyle, you had to make a choice. You can, if you prioritize wanting to have the maximum damage capabilities of the weapon with the longest damage range, you would equip it with, you would not have a suppressor equipped. But you paid a penalty in that you can have the strongest ability of the weapon, but your penalty is when you fire that weapon, you're going to show up on the minimap. Great. So you say, well, how do I counter that? What if I don't want to show up on the minimap? You equip a suppressor, and now you don't show up on the minimap when you fire the weapon. You can be stealthy, you can flank, but you pay a penalty in that now your weapon's damage isn't as strong as with no attachments. You paid a damage penalty, you pay a damage range penalty. I'm fine with that. What is wrong with that? Let's go to the next one. The perk system. If you haven't been following along, they've changed the perk system in this game to where you start the match with 2, and then during the match, you earn the 3rd and the 4th. I think this is a ridiculously dumb idea. But having said that, you could get around it and it would be okay if it wasn't for, at least in the beta. I'm a player that likes to flank and rush around the map and catch people unsuspecting, those Sentinels. The problem is, you have Ghost in the last perk that you could achieve in the match. So you could play through the majority of the match until you get Ghost, Well, the Sentinels can equip multiple UAVs along the way, and they'll see you coming a mile away. They'll hear you coming from a mile away. If you're just bound and determined to have this silly, you start the match with 2 perks and you earn the other 2 as you go along, as the match goes on, fine. Make it to where you can equip a Dead Silence perk and a Ghost perk at the start, and you can earn whatever other 2 you want, you know, Battle Hardened or Hardline or whatever, during the match. Fine. At least you would have Ghost and Dead Silence at the start of the match and the end of the match. And that's a topic for another video, is that there's no Dead Silence perk in this game. They brought it back as a field order. But again, that's a topic down the road. But let's get to the elephant in the room. The number one reason why you will not have fun playing this game. Skill-based matchmaking. The algorithm of this matchmaking system will prioritize whoever's perceived skill level that you have. They will match you up with people consistently that are at your level or above. Now, I'm not opposed to having a challenge every now and then. Sometimes it's fun. You get kind of a rush by beating a team of people that, you know, probably are better than you. The issue here is it prioritizes this perceived skill algorithm, however they come up with it, over connection. For online matchmaking, it should be connection prioritized based matchmaking, and if you have to have a little bit of skill flavor, fine, but it needs to be primarily connection. So to wrap things up here, you could make this game a fun game by making a few little changes. Remove skill-based matchmaking. Have a functioning minimap that when you fire an unsuppressed weapon, you show up. The perk system. If you're bound and determined to have the 2 and then adding the 2 as you go along, make a Dead Silence perk and have Ghost available at the start of the match, and you earn whatever after that. And Footsteps. That kind of goes along with the Dead Silence perk. If you're bound and determined to have big time footsteps in the game, have us a way to where we can counter it from beginning to end. That's it. That's the video. If you enjoyed it, consider subscribing and liking the video. Until the next one.